Hi, Kelly. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming to High Vibes and a Mic. So today we're going to talk about feminine energy and Reiki and mentorship, practical tips also to overcome burnout and rediscover balance. So you're describing yourself as a transformative feminine energies mentor. So can you tell us about
Of course. So, feminine energy is, I like to call it our superpowers that we are born with as women. And, we have certain strengths. And in utilizing those strengths, it allows us to, as I like to say, work smarter, not harder. So we're still able to get a lot done, but we're doing it in a way that is more in tune with who we are and what we need.
that? Okay. So using feminine like traits because I think when we talked earlier, you said that men also have feminine energy. So would you say that when we're in business as women, we shouldn't act like men?
No, no. What I'm saying is everybody has a combination of both. Everybody has masculine and feminine together. The challenge comes when we are trying to use too much of one over the other. There needs to be a balance. So, as women, when we try to use masculine energy, it can cause issues, right? Because that's not how we are made. So by utilizing the feminine energy, we're able to still achieve what our male counterparts are doing. But it's almost counterintuitive because it's different from what they do. So it's just a matter of working differently to achieve the same goal. So it's not that we don't want to work like our male counterparts. We do need some masculine. What we want to make sure is that we aren't so busy doing that we're burning ourselves out.
And how can you recognize that you're using your men energy? How do you know that you're
It's
not in the right
much,
path?
yeah, male energy is, or masculine energy is much more abrupt. It's much more independent, right? Women work better in teams. We're better when we can delegate. We work better when we're receiving constructive criticism, giving constructive criticism. We are more nurturing in our energy. So people tend to feel more secure when they're working with a feminine energy because they know if there's a mistake, they're not going to get yelled at, right? A mistake is a learning opportunity. So it's about balancing it, and it's about understanding that, as women, we try to do 10,000 things at one time, right? So you're taking care of your children, you're taking care of your parents, you're taking care of your spouse, you're taking care of your house, you're taking care of all the appointments, you're working full time, you're right. And it's just too much.
Yeah,
We can't do all of that and work 60 hours a week.
exactly.
So by using our feminine energy and our feminine traits in business, it allows us to be effective without working as many hours.
Now, sorry, when you talk about delegate, I think that's really important. Something I think I show when I show my male energies when people can criticize, my work or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not well received. That's something I need to work on, I guess. And so, can you share how your journey about becoming a feminine energetic mentor? How did you come to this path?
So it goes back quite a ways. Back in 2011, I attended something in New York State. I went to a retreat. It was a spiritual insight training retreat. And part of what I was doing was a spiritualist version of energy healing. I was working on a gentleman, and he asked me if I did Reiki. I said, no, I didn't know what it was. I knew absolutely nothing. And he said, well, I'm a Reiki master. People that do Reiki have a different vibration. If you don't do it, you should be. So I was like, okay,
Okay.
just take it with a grain of salt, go home. A couple months later, I was on Google. I decided, it just kind of popped into my head. So I decided to search it. And I went, I think it was maybe the second listing down, clicked on it. Website came up, very pleasant looking woman. And I'm reading everything. She teaches level 1, level 2, master teacher, all these things. And I scrolled down and discovered that she actually lives across the street from me.
Oh, that's destiny. Oh, that was for you.
Exactly. Exactly. It was kind of like,
Wow.
oh, universe, smack me in the head.
Yeah.
It's time. And there's actually a saying that I teach my students. There is a proverb that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
It's a
So
good one.
I was ready. My teacher appeared. I had been here 18 years and had never met her.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
She's across
Yeah.
the street.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was kind of like, okay. And that started the journey. And I became entranced with all things energy. Decided in 2018 I was going to become an ordained metaphysical minister because it just kind of seemed like the next step. And after that, I decided I wanted to start working with women because as a woman working in corporate, dealing with family and working and business and everything else, I was fortunate enough that when I started to burn out, I was aware enough of my energy that I could see it happening and stop it before it did. Whereas what I'm finding is that a lot of people that I talk to don't realize they're burning out until they've already burnt out. So they don't realize that's what's happening until they get to the point where they're sick and they have to take time off or they have to change careers or what have you, because they don't recognize, it affects your sleep. It affects your home life. It affects your work life. It affects you physically, mentally, emotionally, all of these things. It's not just I'm exhausted, I'm burnt out, right? I mean, the cortisol levels are coming up. Your stress levels are increasing. Your blood pressure is rising. Like it's a whole physical manifestation as well as mental and emotional. And as women, we like to push through, right? It's like, that's okay. I'm not getting sick. I'm just going to keep going. And, eventually your body just says, okay, that's it. We're done. And by that
Sorry.
point, it's too late.
Yeah. It happens to me in 2019. I was really pushing it, working 40 plus hours a week, the kid, the husband, the house, going back to school full time.
Mm-hmm.
I got sick for like 3 weeks. I couldn't even leave my bed for 3 weeks. My body was like, okay, this is it. You're still in bed now. And I understood, okay, no more burnout for me. So you help high achieving women to are on the brink of getting a burnout to get a more easy feel life. So how do you do this? Do you use Reiki only? Or is there like a seminar they can attend, some classes that you give?
So the mentorship I do a one-on-one mentorship, but I also do classes.
Okay.
And it's a combination of a number of different things. My goal is to have these women reach out before they get to that point, right? I want to work with people who aren't about to burn out so that I can help them stop from getting there. In order to do that, I do use a bunch of different techniques. My degree is in psychology, so I bring that into it. I do use energy work. So, I teach about energy, chakras, how to recognize what you're feeling, where it's anchored, all that sort of stuff. But I also am a hypnotherapist. So I can bring hypnotherapy into it as a tool, as well as a way to maybe discover patterns or background things that might be affecting it, as well as experience common sense, and having been through it, right? Having lived it, I get the honor of being able to help women learn themselves so that they can just keep going in a healthy, positive manner, as opposed to trying to come back from burnout.
Is there something specific you will tell your client? Okay, for your case, we need to use hypnotherapy. Maybe like a case in particular that you might think of.
You know what? I actually do a lot of stress release hypnotherapy.
Stress release. Okay.
Yeah. And I actually, I do have a free stress reduction hypnotherapy recording that I give to people who are interested in it. It's only 13 minutes long. It's all it
Okay.
takes. But what happens is when you do hypnotherapy, because you are bringing the brain waves from alpha, which is where we're at right now, down to beta, which is where the subconscious becomes more active. You're able to put suggestions into the subconscious. So, for example, with the free stress reduction hypnotherapy that I offer, it gives you a subconscious statement where even when you're out of it, if you stop and take 3 deep breaths, your body is going to go right back into that relaxed state. So it can be done at your desk, it can be done driving, it can be done while you're making dinner. Like whenever you're feeling the stress, you just do the 3 deep breaths and everything calms down.
Okay. You're not going to fall asleep, right? Because you said you can do it while driving.
No, you're not going to fall asleep. You wouldn't do the whole thing, like you're not going to do the whole session, but just taking the 3 deep breaths.
Yeah, it's so important because I do yoga and you always start with the breathing.
Yeah.
And every time I talk to people, in wellness, every time I talk to people in wellness, they're always talking about the breathing. It's really important just for your subconscious. Yeah. I know what you mean. Is there any misconception about Reiki? Because, yeah, because it's really trendy. I don't know if it's trendy right now, or maybe I just discovered it 2 years ago. But yeah, I see Reiki everywhere. Is there something that you can clear up for us, maybe?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's everywhere and trendy right now, it makes me happy because more people are being exposed to it. It makes me not happy because I think when things become trendy, they lose their value, right? It has been around for thousands of years. Energy work has been around forever. And if you look at, for example, like Asian medicine, there's a whole lot more happening there. And it's even in different methods. It's all the same energy, whether it's acupuncture, acupressure, flexology, all these things are working on the same energy. So people tend to think it's really like woo-woo, right? But it's not. It's actually science-based. And people are finding now it's not necessarily, the hippie-esque individual in the flowing gowns with the beads, which, by the way, I love the look. You like it, go for it. That's not necessarily the people that are doing it now. People are doing it now. For example, in the US, there are dozens of hospitals that have Reiki practitioners on staff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew about acupuncture, but now you can include acupuncture in the services at the hospital. But I know about Reiki. Okay.
Yeah. There are a lot of the larger hospitals. Reiki's actually used in the medical system quite often on cancer patients because it helps to relax. It helps with nausea and things like that. So quite often these people that are suffering from cancer and they're going through their treatments, they'll say the only time they actually get a good night's sleep is when they've had Reiki. And I found out years ago, Dr. Oz, who everybody knows, his wife is a Reiki master, and she actually goes into surgery with him and will perform Reiki while he's doing the surgery to make the recovery easier for the patient.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah. Wow. But you can't do Reiki on yourself, right? You have to have somebody.
No.
Oh, you can?
Absolutely.
No, you cannot.
No, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you can. Sorry.
Yeah. Reiki level 1 is all about learning to do it for yourself.
Okay. So you can kind of heal yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can honestly say I can't remember the last time I got really sick.
Yeah.
Even
we're not going to jinx it, but good for you.
Yeah. I mean, knock on wood, but even when COVID came around, I caught it. And for me, it was like a runny nose and a bit of a tickle in my throat. And that was it.
Yeah.
But Reiki's proven, there's actually a study that was done that Reiki boosts the immune system. So it does a ton of stuff. But the whole concept and the whole basis of it is that our body is brilliant. Our body needs what it knows what it needs. If you think about it, your skin replaces itself every so many years. Your liver can regrow, right? Like our bodies are constantly changing over and releasing the old and bringing in the new. And the idea of Reiki is that the body receives this energy and then the body decides what it's going to use it for and where it's going to use it, right? The practitioner doesn't control it. The person receiving it doesn't control it. Their body will say, okay, you know what? I have a pain in my knee, but it's actually an issue with my hip. So it will take the energy where it's needed, and it works on physical, emotional, and mental. It's great for anxiety. It's great for depression. You know, it's great if you just want to maintain a good health. If you're not feeling well, if you have a cold, like if I feel something coming on, I give myself a Reiki treatment. I've been told it's great for hangovers. You know, like it works on a whole bunch of stuff.
And when you do Reiki on someone, do you have to clean yourself after? I mean, it's not like you're taking their pain or disease or whatever, but do you have to do something after to not be affected because you moved energy?
Yeah, it depends on the individual. It depends on the Reiki practitioner. If you're doing it right, I mean, it's always good to cleanse your aura afterwards, regardless of who you are. But if you're not doing Reiki right, you can actually take on the pain.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you have to be careful
I've
with that.
seen students who have been doing it, and they're like, oh, you know, like I'm getting a pain in my back. And it's like, okay, well, that's because you're taking on their pain.
Yeah.
If you're doing Reiki properly, you are channeling the energy from around you, and you're a conduit, right? It's all going out. Nothing's coming in. If you're not doing it right, it can come back in, and then you start to take on the problems.
So you mentioned earlier that you were a metaphysical minister. So what does this mean exactly for people who don't know anything about that, which is me?
So the metaphysical minister is I've been ordained. I had to study, I had to write exams, I had to be licensed by my province, join a governing body, you know, police check, personal referrals, all that sort of stuff. So it's very much the same as any religion that has a minister, whether, you know, United Church, Presbyterian, a Catholic priest, whatever. But the difference is it's not based on a religious ethic so much as metaphysical is more about what can't be seen, right? So it's about energy. It's about spirit. It's about, you know, astrology and mediumship and all these different things. It's stuff that you can't see, can't necessarily be proven. But in doing that, you know, like meditation, Reiki, that sort of energy work, all of that is part of the metaphysics itself. Now, being ordained, it gives me the ability to counsel as a metaphysical minister, but it also gives me the ability to perform weddings, funerals, baby naming ceremonies, all that sort of stuff. So for somebody who doesn't want a church wedding, but they
Something
want
spiritual.
something spiritual, but not religious, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Then that's the type of person they would look for.
Okay. And so you will bring that in your healing work when you work with people on one-on-one?
I do, because part of what I teach is meditation. Part of what I teach is energy. You know, so all of that is part of the metaphysical. When you look at, for example, part of feminine energy is also recognizing the body's cyclical patterns. So as a woman, you know, you have a month-long cycle. Parts of those cycle, you have tons of energy. You could get anything done, right? And then part of the cycle, you need to relax. You need to step back. You're tired. You're achy. You don't have the energy. So it's understanding and giving yourself grace when, you know, you wake up and you're like, I am exhausted. Well, that might not be the day to run a marathon, right? But for women who don't have a monthly cycle anymore, you actually follow the moon cycle when figuring out your phases, right? So stuff like that brings in the metaphysical as well.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, especially for the women who are in perimenopause or menopause, because you can feel completely lost, you know, what happened to you. Exactly. So if somebody comes to see you, they want to take the first step to be more balance or alignment, what would be the first thing you would tell them? What would be the first advice you would give them?
First thing they probably should do, well, I mean, I offer, obviously, I'll do a half-hour consult. I call it a coffee chat. And we
Yeah.
just sit down over Zoom and have a coffee and discuss what's going on, where do you need support, that sort of thing. And then I can design something depending on the person. So what is happening in their life? Where do they feel they need support? What symptoms are they experiencing? What knowledge do they already have? If they're trained in Reiki or reflexology or something like that, they're not going to need the very beginning part because they're already aware of that stuff. So it's very much like a bespoke program. It's made individually. The one-on-one mentorship is designed specifically for each individual. No two are the same.
Okay. Also, I think I read something on your website about hypnotism and diet. So what is the diet part? Do you talk about diet or do you ask?
I don't have diet on my website.
Why did I put that on my note? And diet. Okay, so sorry, not. I don't want to put that. It's on my note. I don't know why.
That's okay.
Okay, I'm going to scratch that.
But realistically, a healthy diet is important.
Yeah,
because if you're dealing with stress and you're not eating properly, that
Yeah.
compounds the issues, right?
Yeah,
So.
yeah, definitely. I know about that. Still working on it. Work in progress. And so you are an international best-selling author. So how many books did you write?
I was co-author in one.
In one book, okay. And so what do you explore in your writing? So how do you connect this with your work?
So my section of the book is all about energy, how energy works. And then the last part of it is actually the use of sex magic in manifestation.
Okay, so now I'm curious. What is sex magic? You just said the magical word. What is that?
So that's all about, so when you're manifesting something, it's all about the intent that you put behind it. And when you incorporate the energy that's involved with the sexual act and use that to kind of skyrocket the intention, it makes the manifestations occur faster.
This is a revelation. Ladies, are you listening?
I can do so much.
Okay, yes. So do you mean when we're having sex, we have to put our intent to what we want to get it manifest faster? You tried it and it worked? Yes.
It does.
Okay. I had never heard that before. Never. Is it because sex is very powerful? Or?
It is. It is. When you think of it, when you think of all of the energy and emotion that is anchored in that, and to focus that on something that is an intent, it's like manifestation on steroids.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to talk to my husband tonight. But you don't want every time you have sex to think about something like it's going to become like a chore. Well,
exactly.
Like work.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to be careful too, because
once in a while,
if there is a second party involved in the act, you have to be careful who it is, because in doing it, you're absorbing their energy as well. So is that energy something you want to compound and put out into the universe?
Oh, that's good.
Right?
Yeah.
So, if it's someone that you don't know well, or you've just met, or one night stand or whatever, not a good idea.
Okay, good to know. Listen, ladies, listen.
You might not want to use.
Yeah. Okay. So do it with somebody that you trust, somebody that you like. Okay. At least you know for a while.
Well, and someone that has similar energy to you, so that you're not, if you're compounding their energy and it's clashing with yours, then you're canceling each other out, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's going to motivate more women, to make more love to their husband. Sometimes I'm tired. Wait, I want to manifest something.
I have a goal.
I have a goal. Let me help me, achieve it faster. Okay, that's a good tip. Thank you very much for that. Everybody's going to buy that book now.
Yeah, and I'm sure every husband in the world is going to write me and say thank you.
Yes, for sure. I'm going to tell all my friends. That's a good one. And I'm sorry. Okay, so now I don't know what to ask you anymore because I'm off balance. So you would say basically most of your business right now is taking care of women, right?
Yes,
For feminine energy, and people will contact you will be like boss women or very like high achieving women, and they know they're gonna be on the brink of getting a burnout, and they need some help to get more balance in their lives.
exactly. So it's going to be the woman who is very career oriented, who
Yeah.
is upper level corporate or an entrepreneur, has their own business, because God knows we work the most.
Yeah. Yes.
And and they want to be able to achieve their goals, but they're finding that they don't have enough time in the day. They're working too much, and it's starting, they think it's going to take a toll, or they feel that they want to achieve more, but haven't figured out how to do it without working, 70 hours a week.
Yeah. Because sometimes we always think that we have to prove ourselves more also than men.
Mhm.
So that can be like a little trap,
It
sometimes.
is. It is.
Yeah.
They always say you got to work twice as hard to get half as much acknowledgement, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So if people want to contact you, where should they go? I will put everything in the show notes, of course, but
Yeah.
they can go directly on your website, and you on social media also, right?
I am. I am. Website is Radiant Femme with FEMME.ca.
Mm-hmm.
And my Facebook profile is also, page is Radiant Femme. Instagram handle is Kelly Radiant Femme.
I like that you use the French word for woman.
Well, I'm Canadian, so I got to
I
throw some
know.
French in, right?
I really like that. Well, thank you for the quick conversation. Okay, it was really enlightening, insightful.
Thank you.
We learned a lot.
Now you got to start practicing.
Yes, we will. We want to manifest. We like, I mean, especially in this podcast, we like manifestation and meditation and everything that goes with it. So
Yeah,
thank you, Katie, for the talk. And hopefully, if ladies are very stressed and they have their own business or career oriented, like you said, they will contact you and you can help them.
absolutely. I would love to.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And ladies, I'll talk to you next Monday.
Thank you for
Bye.
having me. Bye.